Hey guys, it's YellowPete from Counterlogic Gaming Europe, and today I'll bring you my Razer Academy video about Varus. This is a really random solo queue game, or duo queue game rather. I played with Crapo. Yeah, and I'm just gonna give you a quick rundown through what I do in the champion, what I build, what I level, what the general playstyle is, and yeah, hope you guys learn from it. So, for starters, as support I have Lulu this game. I think she's relatively decent with him. Varus is a champion that does not have a lot of defensive abilities. Actually, he has pretty much no defensive abilities apart from his CC. So he has trouble getting away from assassins and stuff. And this is where Lulu's protection and protective spells come in handy, such as the shield and the ultimate. At the start of this game, we just start off standard on blue side. We take the bombs to get some XP lead on the lane. Could have actually done this with a little bit less HP loss, but it doesn't matter. Creeper is using a potion and it's broken out anyways. Yeah, other supports I like to play with Varus are more aggressive choices, such as Leona and Blitzcrank, because he does have a lot of burst potential in lane, as well as CC, so you can easily get some kills, especially once you get your ultimate. So starting off this game, I'll just push up the lane slightly. What we want to do is just use our XP advantage, kind of. Which is a bit unfortunate that Creeper gets poked here, so we have less of an offensive opening. As for my opening item choice, I get the longsword this game. In the new patch, I feel that longsword is a pretty good opener. The only thing that it lacks a little bit is sustainability, which can possibly be problematic if you have a non-healing support, such as, you know, Lulu or whatever else. But overall, I really feel it's a decent start, and most of the time, probably the best you can do, because you can also go into some quick lifesteal with the Vamp Scepter afterwards, which builds up from longsword now. Yeah, the lane matchup is a little bit tricky at the start with Zyra, because she outranges both of us, basically, and getting caught in a root with some plants on us is always gonna result in a disadvantageous trade, so we gotta be a little bit cautious. That's why I'm mainly looking to push it up and make them use CS under the tower, or make them choose between trading and last hitting. As for general harassing on lane, Varus is pretty decent at it. He has 575 range, which is slightly higher than the usual low range AD champions, such as Graves, Corki, and Ezreal, which each have 550. So you can often sneak an auto attack in, and then use your spells to proc the stack you get on the enemy. Leveling wise, I prefer to max out my E ability early on, just because it's, in my opinion, the easiest to apply. It's very quickly, it travels very quickly, and it does some decent damage, and it also procs your stacks, obviously, which is what you want. So, yeah, I go for that first. And I get another early point in W. I feel his W deals magic damage per hit, and also applies these light stacks you see around the enemy, which you can then trigger by hitting them with a spell, which will damage them for a percentage of their maximum health. I get a point of that usually at level 2. It's a really strong level 1 ability, actually. Like, the level 1 is very strong, because it gives you 10 magic damage on each hit plus the stacks, which is quite a lot. However, if you level it up, it's not amazing. Like, you don't get amazing bonuses per level, so I usually max it last. Also because it scales with the maximum HP of your enemy, so yeah, it naturally grows stronger the later the game goes. But there's a lot of strategies, or a lot of different approaches to leveling up Varus' abilities. Some people prefer to max the Q early because the base damage is pretty insane. Like, this is level 1 ability, and it already deals with how much bonus damage do I have at this point? Probably like, yeah, 30 or 40 bonus damage. It already deals 190 just from the best value, and the great scaling if you charge it completely. So if you max that out first and you hit, say, fully charged arrow by level 5 or so, when you have level 3 of the ability, it's easily gonna deal like say 300 damage roughly, and yeah, that's quite insane for at that point of the game. But yeah, going into this lane, here I actually reacted a little bit late to the Jinzhao. That could have netted us a kill, but it doesn't really matter too much. As for my item choice, I had enough money to get 2 Dorans and a longsword, as well as no, the longsword I had before. 2 Dorans as well as boots. I mean, if I had 400 gold left before I bought boots, I'd probably go for Vamp Scepter instead. In the new Season 3 patch, it's not as important to get early boots, in my opinion. It still helps when you get ganked, but on lane it's not, unless it's level 2 boots versus no boots, it doesn't give you a real significant advantage, I would say. And having that early lifesteal would probably do more. But yeah, we pushed them out of lane again here. I can't really freeze it at this point too much because their wave isn't big enough, but still, if I push slowly, they're still gonna lose quite some creeps here, so that's what I'm aiming for. And I also want to keep the lane in this position. Like, Varus is pretty strong if you manage to freeze the lane, because the trades you can force onto them as they try to push it in are very powerful. So right now I'm level 6 and Zarya doesn't notice that Creepo is already on the lane, so she gets caught as she runs in. I know that Ezreal still has his E up, so I have to wait with my ultimate until I hit him. Your ultimate also procs your blight stacks, by the way, and I use barrier to shield from the last tower shot, which would have killed me. Oh yeah, that leads me to the summoner choices. You absolutely need flash, in my opinion, just because you don't have any innate abilities that grant you any kind of mobility. No jumps, no speed ups, no nothing. You only have some moderate form of CC, but that's usually not enough to get you away from strong assassins, so flash is definitely necessary. And then for the second summoner in this game, they have a lot of straight up burst that can reach me with Wukong, like Zyra, Snare, Ezreal ultimate, stuff like that. Like if I get CC'd in place, I can get bursted down very easily. So I could opt for Cleanse, but it will only really be useful against Zyra Snare. So I'm kind of banking on dodging that or not getting hit by that. I'm just getting barrier for damage reduction against stuff like Wukong, which I can't really prevent from hitting me too well. Like if he has flash in a team fight and he really wants to, he's gonna get his ultimate off on me. There's not too much I can do about that. So yeah, Zyra's at the side again. I get exhausted and hit by Ezreal ultimate. So at this point Ezreal is pretty strong, so we have to turn him with exhaust too. I believe this is gonna be a kill. Yeah, he dances around a little bit, which gets him killed eventually. So on my second base, I'm not quite sure how much money exactly I had, but I upgraded my boots and completed my Vamp Scepter. And this is like the standard build you would want to have to sustain on lane. Just 2 Dorans give you a lot of tankiness, and quite some sustain, like quite some regeneration from last hitting, plus the lifesteal. can keep you in lane for a very long time, and it's just a lot of free health that you get by it. Plus, a little bit mobility from Zerkers makes you able to trade really well at this point. So we push them out of lane once more, and once again I try to not push it up too quickly. The strategy, if you know the enemy is leaving the lane, should be either to push it into the tower completely, long before they come back, because in this case they're going to lose all those creeps to the tower, or freezing the lane, which also makes them lose creeps, obviously, because they're not there to farm them. In this case, I wasn't confident I would get it into the tower before they were back, so I just tried to push as slowly as possible, even though I wasn't able to freeze it completely. So yeah, Zyra is heavily underleveled right now because of how often she has been pushed out of the lane, and she takes a lot of damage from her spells. So I would actually try to go aggressive here with lose speed, but it just jumps away. For my first big item, I usually go for Bloodthirster with him. That's a strong trade. Oh, I actually tried to catch her down at the tower. I missed one auto attack, but I still forced the flash, so that's fine. Bloodthirster mostly because of the sustain and because of the mid-game burst it kind of offers you once you stack it up to full. 100 AD will give you a lot of damage. I don't know how much exactly it is. I think it should be like 200 damage roughly on your Q fully charged alone, so that's quite a lot. E doesn't have quite as high a ratio, but it still helps, and especially the sustain with how much you want to trade on lane at that point on Varus in a 2v2 situation. You'd really want to have the ability to just heal up afterwards for free. Yeah. Xin tries to dive here without any creeps, so it's not too smart. So at this point, we know Wukong was still around, so we try to get vision over here, and we see he's not there anymore, and we know we're strong and that Zyra wants to base, like has to base. So what we do is we go past the tower and delay their bases as long as we can, since that will make them lose the next wave to the tower. Yeah. As a general trading strategy on Varus, I'd usually go for one auto attack plus E on lane. That'll out-trade most of the other combos that you usually face. In team fights, you would wanna hold on to your spells a little bit until you actually get 3 stacks on the enemy, because there's no other way for you to trigger your stacks unless with spells, and your spells don't come at very low cooldowns. E, for example, has 10 seconds, Q has 16 seconds at this point actually, although I think that scales up as soon as you level the ability. But as you can see, you don't have the ability to just spam stuff that will trigger your the procs, and the procs actually do quite a lot of damage, so you have to be kind of careful about how you use your spells. Like, unless in a clear poking situation, you definitely want to hang on to them until you have some blight stacks on your enemies. Okay. We actually go quite aggressive here for me, just finishing my Bloodthirster. Usually you'd want to just stack it up for free, and then once it's completed, you'd want to go for fights and trades, but we're so strong in this case anyways that we could just as well go straight away. The second ability I level up is a little bit, it depends kind of. Often I will go for Q, just so I have maximum burst potential in mid-game and poking potential. If I don't see myself like poking a lot with it. I'm just judging from our and their team comp. I'll go just max W first already for more auto attack damage. I mean, it also scales with your items, kind of your attack speed items, so which you'll get some of at that point in the game. So I think that's, yeah, we see Wukong stealthing here, and Yuno's gonna go in. So we cut him from the side. I think I have both my summoners up at this point. Using barrier to shield the Wukong ultimate, and getting... oh no, we actually missed this kill, it was quite terrible. Everyone was kind of, yeah, you finish him, right? And then he survives. But not for too long. So I still have my ultimate up, didn't need it for Wukong. Applying one stack to him before he can jump over, and then finishing him off with another 2 auto attacks and Q. That's actually the strength of Varus ultimate. It keeps people in place just so you can apply more procs to them and then trigger them afterwards with your other spells. Although it also triggers like the procs itself, you'll often have to use it before you auto attack enemies for a significant amount of attacks. So yeah, at this point we're pretty far ahead, obviously. By mid game, when like 1 or 2 towers are down on the side lanes, you always have to watch out. Seeing when the farm comes in, like if you see like such a huge wave approaching a tower, you should use that time to farm it, because by falling back and farm during mid game, you can actually still get into quite a big disadvantage, even if you're fed from kills. So my next item pickup will be Ruin's Hurricane. I'm not sure if I'm getting it completely right here. I might just be waiting on it. No, I can't buy it yet. This item will allow you to hit 3 targets at the same time, like your primary target as well as 2 targets which are close to that. And it will not only deal your usual auto attack damage, although halved, it will also apply full damage from all, like full damage and full effects from all on-hit abilities, which his W is, obviously, so you will be able to apply your blight stacks to way more enemies at the same time. So I'm just trying to get that here. Yeah. Team fight in mid, which we lose, and which they get a dragon out of eventually. Right now, there's nothing I can really do in a 1v5 situation there, so I'm just pushing it up quickly, getting my item, and then basing here so they can't fall on my back. So now I'm at a very strong point. I have my fully stacked Bloodthirster, as well as a lot of attack speed, and triple hit from Ruin's Arcane. So yeah, I definitely want to look to fight right now. I'm just getting my red quickly before. Remember that it's definitely not a bad idea, even if you're AD, if you have some leftover gold and a free item slot, to carry some wards around. It can help you. It can help you split push way easier, and yeah. So I didn't see Wukong stealthing in here, which is why I flash out immediately. My ultimate spreads out to all 3 of them, so I managed to take both of them down. Wukong will stealthy, I believe, yeah, but I expect him to run here. I actually see him around the corner. My E just comes off cooldown. I can finish him off, and then go on to 1v1 Ezreal. I still have barrier at this point, so there's no way I'm gonna lose this fight, but I actually managed to save it. I knew he's the E up, so you'd want to wait with your skill shots until he uses that, so he can't dodge it. Yeah. That actually leads me to another thing about his ultimate. It spreads out. Like, the mechanic that it uses is, as soon as it hits somebody for the first time, it'll spread out to everyone in a certain radius around them immediately. It's about this size, I would say. Like, that's maybe 500 range or so. It'll spread out to those, and if they run out of this range or a slightly higher range than that, they will not get hit, and it takes like 1.5 seconds, I would guess, to spread out to them. And it will only hit enemies once, so it won't spread to somebody then go back again. It'll only hit them once, and yeah, but it can spread from champion to champion. It can potentially spread, 4 times after the initial hit. Cho'Gath runs in here, not watching the map apparently, but sadly our Katarina DCs at this point, so I think we're gonna lose this team fight right now. Yeah, she's DC'd, so... Riven picks up a quadra kill and tries for the penta. I actually miss her with my ultimate here, which is kind of bad. I would still manage to 1v1 her here, but Ezreal comes jumping on me and finishes me off. So we get aced. However, they can't really get Baron out of this, so it's not horrible. Yeah. Nothing much to say to that, I guess. My next item pickup will be Last Whisper. They don't really have tremendous amounts of armor, but they have some, especially the melee characters get a lot of armor per level as well. Say Cho'Gath has... okay, actually doesn't have any armor, so 65. But like, Riven has already 100 armor, Wukong has 105 armor, like, it's not extremely worth it, but as I get more fed, they'll probably build more armor anyways. So, like at this point, I could get other options which would give me more damage, but looking into the future, it will also make all the armor that the enemy buys less effective. So, and since I'm, the most fed member on the team, I'd wanna make sure I'll actually always be able to deal a lot of damage. Yeah, after a death, you'd wanna go to a side lane and quickly farm back up your Bloodthirster stacks. At this point, like in this patch, it's actually not that hard anymore because you only have 30 stacks maximum. You only lose half of them, so after 15 creeps, after one death, if you farm 15 creeps, you're already at maximum again. So that's quite nice. So we get into the next fight here. I'm still relatively far away, but I can already see pretty much where it's going. Mundo's gonna escape this way, and we're probably gonna fight in this area. They don't see me coming, I believe. And this is a pretty good example of, or a pretty good situation just like that for usage of the ult. Just a lot of people grouped, and you can hit the middle member of them. Often you might have problems using your ultimate effectively if they only have a single engager on the team that goes very far in front of the rest of the team. Such as a Mumu. Like if he jumps in and you ult him, you basically waste the potential of your ultimate, since it doesn't spread. It only hits a Mumu, and that's kind of, yeah, it's kind of meh. But in this last team fight, we can maybe watch it again. Yeah, you'd want to hit somebody that's close to other enemies, just so you can hit the maximum amount of people with it. So I try to aim it in roughly this line, and actually all jump into it. And as you can see, it spreads out Ezreal manages to run out of the range before it actually hits him, but it still hits the 3 melee members. So yeah, that's pretty much about Varus. His strength, I believe, is kind of his ultimate in an engaging situation such as this. Like if your team has strong engagers, say Malphite or Mumu with a lot of AoE CC, which you can follow up on with your ultimate, there's a potential that will never even get to, you know, counter attack you because you just get bursted and comboed immediately. What he's not as good at is when your team is actually getting engaged upon themselves, because yeah, as I said, he doesn't have any really good evasive abilities, and getting engaged on by a single assassin leaves you with no choices but to flash away, because using your ultimate on them will be a waste too. So I mean, you often will have to do it anyways, but it's just a waste of potential, kind of. So yeah, as for item choices going into late game, you'd usually want, like I'm building this up already, you'd usually want a Guardian Angel, depending on their lineup actually. Sometimes you can also get away with Mercurial Scimitar, the QSS item, or just QSS and then build it into Mercurial Scimitar as the game goes on and you get more money. It kind of depends on what kind of CC the enemy has. In this case, it's a lot of straight up burst with Riven and Wukong. Like if they flash on me, in a realistic situation, if they angle me in a team fight or something, or they just blow all the summoners to just get to me, they probably pull it off. So Guardian Angel is a decent choice, especially since we also have other carries on the team which can kind of take over the damage output while I'm respawning. And then for the 5th item, or for the 6th item rather, I wouldn't be too sure, but I'd probably go for Infinity Edge. Even though I don't even have any crit chance, it's still at that point, with the amount of attack speed, attack damage that I have, it'd probably give me the most damage output out of any item that I could get. The boots will usually be Berserker's Greaves, since you kind of want them early on lane to be aggressive. The upgrade, you can either go with the what's it called, Distortion, I believe, the one that reduces your flash cooldown, which can be important at certain times, or just the one that improves your movement speed as you hit targets, which is always a pretty decent upgrade on AD carries, just because of their nature, because they kite people with auto attacks, and yeah, that helps them do that so much easier. Yeah, and I believe that's everything you really need to know. Yeah, thanks for watching, and hope to see you next time.